Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odesa. We are starting our briefing day, and would like to start it with discussing the topic of the child's injuries. Our current guest is Natalia Utiupina, head of the Children's Service of the Odessa Regional Military Administration. Natalia, the floor is yours. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. Today, I would like to talk about a very important topic, which is especially important when it comes to summer holidays. More and more often, children are left at home without proper adults' control, and to understand that their parents, of course, need to work to earn for the living. But today I would like to speak about the prevention of accidents and also to prevent child's injuries and sometimes lethal cases. I would like to say that the biggest amount of injuries people get outdoors when they get different types of vehicles or devices. And of course, parents want to buy the best and to provide the best for their children, for their development. But we need to also explain children how to behave properly with these vehicles and devices and where they can be used. Adults should explain children where they can use different types of these vehicles and devices, and we should also explain them the traffic rules to prevent injuries caused by the mentioned devices. And we believe that child injuries is not an interesting topic, and sometimes we fail to properly assess the consequences. When we analyze these injuries, accidents, quite often we can understand that such cases, such situations could have been prevented. And I believe that parents, adults, should take measures to prevent child injuries. And if we work together with the public, we can achieve better results and better indicators in this area. Now, I would like to mention the most frequent injuries that children can get. These are injuries caused by wheeled vehicles, drowning of children in reservoirs. It's a summer period now. It's a warm period season now, and of course children want to swim in different reservoirs in the countryside. If you have any types of reservoirs, rivers, lakes, and also we can see this year that some beaches are now open where parents can take their children to. That's why it is very important to take care about children when they're near the water or in the water. Children should be always attended by their parents near the reservoirs. Coming back to most frequent injuries, they also include burns from hot stoves, hot dishes, food, boiling water, steam, iron. All the time, we need to explain our children the safety rules when they try to use different types of appliances, especially when the children are left unattended by their parents. Most frequent injuries also include different types of poisoning by household chemicals, foods, and different type of washing liquids and bleaches. Electric shock is also one of the most widespread type of injuries. Sometimes it can lead to lethality of children. According to the analysis of children's injuries and accidents, the main causes of this phenomena are caused by the insufficient control over children. That's why we would like to recommend parents to find some interesting playgrounds, classes for children to be occupied. This can be also some sports or workshops, because during such events, children are always with people responsible for playgrounds or workshops, and this is also useful for the development of children. I would like to say that children's services are also responsible for prevention of suicides among children. That's why, to prevent accidents among children, I ordered issue as of the 29th of May on conducting preventive measures raids in the region during the summer holidays. The order was sent to the Child Protection Services of territorial communities and districts. According to the order, to ensure the life and health of children, especially in the summer period, the following measures have been implemented in the territory of the region with the involvement of child protection services. They involve different meetings with the aim of organizing actions between the subjects of detection and organization of social protection of children. This carrying out joint raids in the places of possible mass recreation of children and young people. These are also visiting children who are in difficult life circumstances. So if we are aware of such cases, we should always focus on such children. And this is can be also said about juvenile police and local services, because there significant risk when children can be injured or can be in danger in their families. This is also the provision of medical examination for children when they're taken away from their families if they were endangered. Carrying out in cooperation with the city district units of the Department of Emergency Service in Odesa region, informational and explanatory work among parents and the population of the community regarding their responsibility over their children. I've already mentioned today several forms of injuries, and also I would like to say that the most frequent form is the cases when children fall out of the window. Only in Odesa over the last weeks, we've already had more than 4 cases when children fall out of the windows. Unfortunately, 3 of them were lethal. That's why I would like to ask parents to take care about their children. We should communicate with our children more. We should explain them danger. Perhaps we should even show them the cases in the past for children to realize the level of the danger. If they want to look out of the window, especially when it comes to the children residing on higher floors. Of course, most of these cases These cases are not that frequent in the countryside because they have one-story buildings there. But generally, we, like the public, should pay more attention to different forms of injuries among children, and we should also raise awareness. And these joint efforts will allow us to decrease the number of injuries and accidents, or we can even prevent the injuries of children. I would also like to note that, unfortunately, for more than a year now, has been war in our country after the invasion of the Russian Federation on our territory. Odesa region is no exception of the full-scale invasion. Luckily, the hostilities are not that active here, but we should also remember about mine danger. And we should also teach our children how to behave with the different items, objects, even if they just resemble landmines. I would like to note that UNICEF, in cooperation with the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine and the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Ukraine, has launched the website, and also they have prepared a lot of materials to raise awareness about mine danger among children. And this information has been also published on social media, on websites. And these materials are very useful for those parents who have not discussed the mine danger with their children yet. I believe that we should pay attention to this problem, and we should discuss this with our children. Children should understand how these items can look to prevent mine injuries among our children, that these mines can be found outdoors. I would also like to share with you statistics that we have at the moment. For everyone to understand that we do not talk about individual cases, and children get injured every day. I've just collected data for May this year. Only in May 2023, 82 accidents were registered among children. Some of them because of children's inattention. Sometimes they were lethal cases. I've already mentioned today the household poisoning. There were 10 children for the last months. These were washing liquids, medication, and unfortunately, they also include 2 lethal cases. Traffic accidents. 20 children have been injured, including 2 lethal cases among minor children. 52 children got injuries at playgrounds, seesaws. So in the places where children are supposed just to have some rest, but we should also remember that children can get injured there as well. The bites of dogs, 4 children, electric shock, 1 child, and also different types of injuries at home or at schools. There are 26 children in total. I would like to emphasize once again that children can be injured because they are not aware of behavior rules in different places. These rules were not explained by adults, but children should be also protected all the time, and only adults can provide for this protection. That's why now I would like to address adults and all communication measures, mass media. We should raise awareness about child injuries and how to prevent these injuries. Thank you. Thank you for your report. I've got a question from my colleague online. Do you plan any events? Because Odesa is now expecting internally displaced children from Kherson Oblast. Do you plan to organize some special events for them, to organize work with psychologists, summer camps, etc.? Thank you very much for your question. Yesterday, all of us saw what happened in Kherson Oblast, in Kherson region. We're in contact with our colleagues from the Kherson region. Every Friday, we consider this issue under the umbrella of Irina Vereshchuk, the Vice Prime Minister on the temporarily occupied territories, and we also discussed the issue in our headquarters yesterday. Children are evacuated together with their parents, and they are put in special centers, so they provide with some other accommodations. Orphans, children without adult care, have been already evacuated from the Kherson region, from orphanages during the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. So these children were evacuated abroad. Most of them who are still in Ukraine are in Mykolaiv region. So yesterday there was no need to evacuate such children because they had already been evacuated. We're in contact with my colleague from that region, and yesterday we also discussed generally how to meet people of different ages, including children. And we also discussed thoroughly the places of accommodation for such people. The situation is under control, and if there is a need to evacuate children, we have places of accommodation for them. But yesterday we did not face some major problems. So yesterday no children from the Kherson region arrived to Odesa for a temporary stay at least. No orphans arrived yesterday. Perhaps some families with children who left the Kherson region on their own and were in transit through Odesa or decided to stay in Odesa, but these were children with families. Thank you. Thank you for the briefing. We've got no more questions. We will be pleased to invite you here once again. Our next briefing will be at 2 p.m. If there will be no additional information about the blown up Kakhovska hydroelectric power plant dam, then we will have the next briefing at 2 p.m. We will have the Igor Romanenko, General Lieutenant, the former head of the General Staff, about missiles. Stay tuned.